Christians must not be moved from the hope held out in the gospel. We must stand strong. I feel like singing that song, "We shall not be moved, we shall not be moved." I read this morning in Colossians about Christ's physical body through death to present us holy in God's sight, without blemish and free from accusation. That's the position we're in before God, that we're without blemish, free from accusation, holy in God's sight. And it says we have this though, verse 23 of Colossians 1, if we continue in our faith, established and firm, not moved from the hope held out in the gospel. And I love that phrase, not moved from the hope held out in the gospel. The hope that in God's eyes we're perfect. We are chosen, we are adopted, we've got special status, we are valued, we are loved by God. He has a plan for our lives. We're here for a reason. You know what it's like when we meditate on those things, it feels incredible. And we shouldn't be moved from that hope. And it is held out in the gospel. But if you're anything like me, you know full well every single day is a battle. Even this morning is a battle. Before I even did this video, it is a battle. There's several things that were bothering my mind. And not just bothering my mind, but I just felt myself thinking about them. You know, ruminating on problems, ruminating on things that are bothering you. And then the last thing you're thinking about is the hope held out in the gospel. So we have a battle in our hands, and God knows this. Jesus knew this. He said in John that, look, take heart. You know, in this world you'll have many troubles. Take heart, I have overcome the world. So as we're in this world, as we battle to not be polluted by the world, we have to fight off the challenges that come our way to stay firm and hold on. Again, not let ourselves be moved. So not be moved implies the idea that we have to fight. You know what it's like if you're not going to be moved. You're standing strong and you don't want to be moved. Sometimes I get tested. I test people's balance reactions and I get them to stand still and I say to them, don't allow me to move you. I'll push them back. It is an ethical type of therapy. I push them back, push them forward, push them to the side, push them to the other side. And often they've got some neurological condition. They have to resist me, not let themselves be moved. And that's what we need to do as Christians. We need to stand firm, not let ourselves be moved. In this next chapter of Colossians, Paul goes on to talk about how we must stand firm in the faith. We have to resist, anything that comes in to counteract the gospel, to deny the gospel. And it made me think of a verse to help us to not be moved. I think in terms of not being moved, what do we need to do? Well, I think it starts in our mind. We think, therefore we are. We're a product of what we do every day. We are a product of the way we think. How is our thinking? I heard a phrase at the weekend, stinking thinking. Sometimes our thinking is not good. How is our thinking? It all comes down to how we think. And my favorite verse in that, 2 Corinthians 10 in verse 5 says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And here's the thing, we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. If we're not taking captive our thoughts, if we don't think about how we're thinking, we're not going to stand firm and not be moved, because the world is throwing stuff at us every single day. So we must take captive every thought. We've got to watch what's coming into our mind. Watch what's coming into our mind with the culture around us. The culture and the world around us, the Bible describes it being of Satan. It's not controlled by God. It's controlled by Satan, the evil one. We've got to take captive the thoughts that come in from our culture, the world, news, and you guessed it, social media. Watching reels and videos where there's a relentless, opinions coming in constantly that are not of Christian origins, that are opposed to Christ. So we've got to take captive those thoughts. And I encourage myself this morning in the thoughts that I had that were battling against moving me from the hope of the gospel. I thought I've got to meditate on the word. What's my solution? The most simplest of things of all. Paul shared in 2 Colossians about how he came to bring them the word of God in all its fullness. We got to meditate on the word of God, meditate on its truth, reflect on that, share the thoughts that we have. Are we sharing the thoughts that we have that are anti-Christ, if you like? Because if they come in, we've got to not let them take root. We've got to bat them out. We've got to bat them out with the word of God and stand firm and not let ourselves be moved. So it's intentionality. We've got to be intentional to not let ourselves be moved from that hope held out in the gospel. What is that hope? We're free from accusation, free from blemish. We're holy in his sight. This is incredible news.